Hello, we're here with Emerson Spartz. He is the CEO of Spartz Media. Emerson created his first website at the age of 12, and at age 19 became a New York Times bestselling author. Emerson, please tell us what motivated you to create your first website at the age of 12.
So when I was 12, I convinced my parents to let me drop out of school and start homeschooling myself. So I had a really non-traditional self-education where I designed and developed my own curriculum. I built a lot of things. I built a lot of websites. One of them was a Harry Potter website called MuggleNet, which became, of course, the largest of its kind. And I ran that full-time for a decade. Originally, my motivation was just that I wanted to build things, and websites were easy and fun.
Great. And tell us about the Spartz Media Network, how you came about creating that.
So I've been interested in influence for a very long time. And one particular type of influence that really captured my imagination is virality. Because to me, virality was like having a human superpower. If you can make things viral, then you could tip elections, you could overthrow dictators, you could start movements, you could revolutionize industries. And nobody really seemed to know much about it. And so I did a really deep dive into a variety of fields and areas that tie into virality, like network science, network theory, persuasion theory. And I had an aha moment. It was the kind of insight that if I was an academic, I would have published a paper on it. But of course, I'm not an academic, I'm an entrepreneur. So I started just testing it right away. I was using Facebook as my first petri dish and developed a series of algorithms designed to get Facebook pages to go viral. Created dozens of pages that went from 0 to millions of fans over a period of a few hours to a few days. And what I was basically doing is I was testing hundreds of different variables, seeing which variables correlated positively with virality, and then it kept shortening the viral loop until I could tell within 20 seconds the page was going to go viral. So I was able to take the same ideas from Facebook. These were all network level insights, like nodes, hubs, things like that. So I took the same ideas from Facebook to Twitter, got millions of followers on Twitter, YouTube, Tumblr, websites, apps. It didn't matter which platform because the network level insight, nature of the insights. Some platforms are obviously vastly more conducive to virality than others. But anyway, so it originally started kind of applying this methodology for systematically engineering virality to social media accounts and built up an audience of tens of millions of followers. And then started applying it to content and was able to get billions of page views, or billions of views of content. And then started applying it to content trends, which is a lot of the sites that we have in our network, like OMG Facts, which is the number one fact site. We've got a website with funny iPhone autocorrects that went viral, a bunch of other like memes sites, stuff like that. And what we're doing now, finally, I've been wanting to do this for a long time, is focus engineering virality on transactional apps. So basically, a product that has a big enough pain point where people actually open up their checkbook and pay. Or when I say open up your checkbook, I mean the digital equivalent, which is like tapping in an app purchase to pay for it. Because that's when the amount of money gets really interesting. If you can engineer virality of a product that people will actually pay for.
Great. And now, I don't want you to give your secret way or algorithm, but what are some of the things that really makes content go viral?
So there's a number of things. I have two completely different answers to that question. The first answer is that virality is really fickle and hard to predict, and the only way to systematically engineer virality is to closely mimic something that has already gone viral, because successfully isolating the variables that made it viral is very, very hard to do. But if you use as inspiration something else that's already gone viral, it dramatically increases your probability. So that's one answer. The other answer, which is the answer that most people want to hear, if we're deconstructing from the ground up, is ultimately things only go viral if they create enough emotion. Think about it like this. You look at 1,000 pieces of content every single day, and how many of them do you actually share? 1, 2, none? The ones that make you share are the ones that create a lot of emotion. They have to be really awesome in some way to get you off your butt and willing to like go and like spam everyone you know and tell them, hey, go read this article, go look at this picture, whatever it is. So you gotta create a lot of emotion. Now there's a lot of ways you can create emotion. You can do it through some of the obvious ones, like cute animals create emotion, nostalgia creates emotion, pissing people off creates emotion. Like injustice is a way to create emotion. You can current events also create emotion. Like if everybody's talking about something and you post something about that thing everyone's talking about, like everyone's got emotion around that thing. So whether it's national sporting events or tragedies or whatever it is. And also think about it like this: before somebody decides to tell a friend or share something that they've heard or seen or experienced, like a piece of content or a product, they're always going to ask themselves the question, before I share this, will sharing this make me look cool? And if it doesn't make them look cool, they're less likely to share it. Or does it make them look smart? Does it project the right image that I want to project to everyone I know? Now this is the reason why nobody shares porn. So those are a few things that all contribute to virality. But at the core of it, it's just about not being boring. If you're boring, no one's going to share your stuff. And most of the stuff you're producing right now probably is way too boring to go viral.
Sure. And Emerson, tell us how you implemented a community-driven model with Spartz Media.
So it's actually less community-driven than you'd think. It's much more algorithmic. So at the core, what we do is we have a methodology for identifying apps and websites that have a high probability of growing virally. And when we identify an app or website that has a high probability of going viral, we launch it and we use our existing properties to cross-promote it. And but pretty much everything from that point we designed so that we don't actually depend on a community to maintain it, because community management is really hard. I did MuggleNet for 10 years. It takes a lot of work. There's a lot of hand-holding, there's just a lot more work that has to be done to it. We've pretty much automated everything in our model right now, so that even though we have people producing content on our sites and things like that, it's not at the core of what we do. At the core of what we do is being able to identify which websites and apps have the highest probability of going viral, and then launching them and designing them in such a way that they don't require a tremendous amount of maintenance after we launch them.
Sure. And Emerson, I have one last question for you. Tell us what you see for yourself and for Spartz Media in the next 5 years.
So ultimately, I want to change the world, and I want to do it on a massive scale. Now, I'm probably not going to do it in the next 5 years. It's probably going to take longer than that. But ultimately, we're raising some capital right now to scale up our operations. So we've got a great team, and we're strong executors. We're able to ship quickly. It's really hard to predict where we are, because ultimately it's a portfolio approach. We launch a lot of products. They all have a lot of commonalities and similarities, but it's really, really hard to say where we'll be in 5 years. But we're launching a lot of products that have serious home run potential, and we have an 80% success rate in the products we've launched in the past. So excited about the future.
Great. Well, Emerson, I thank you so much for sitting down and talking with us. And if you're interested in learning more and connecting with Emerson, go to fundology.com.